It's time to introduce our final speaker of the day. Andrea Katz is a lifelong learner. She holds honors from the University of Manitoba, where she obtained a double major in psychology and sociology. In 2013, Andrea founded Fit Communications alongside her sister, Allison, drawing on their shared upbringing immersed in sports and their experiences as national and internationally competitive athletes. Fit Girls events and Reach inspired young girls and their families to participate in sports and fitness, fostering confidence and empowerment. But the last decade, she has faced significant health challenges. This within her family, losing her mother in 2013 and her father to brain cancer in 2022. This had her seeking greater knowledge of health and wellness, and she furthered her education at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York City, becoming a certified integrative nutrition coach in 2020, and then establishing her own nutrition coaching business, Best You Nutrition. At the age of 43 in 2020, Andrea also became a solo mother to her remarkable daughter. She has found tremendous joy in motherhood after what was a long journey of personal struggles, including miscarriages. She's found that her story of resilience and determination resonates deeply with the people that she helps today. She's on a mission to show anyone that they can live a healthy life of purpose and fulfillment. Let's give a massive round of applause to one of the women who founded this event and also our final speaker, Andrea.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the excellent job today and the kind words. So just to sort of reiterate introduction to myself, I'm Andrea Katz. I'm the co-founder of this event with Shauna. I'm the founder of Best You Nutrition, and I'm a certified integrative nutritionist. Well, what the heck does that even really mean? The way that I like to explain it is that, you can be eating all the broccoli and beets and Brussels sprouts in the world, but if you're in a toxic relationship, have no joy in your life, or hate your job, are you really healthy? And so what I like to do is sort of take a look at everything that's going on in a person's life and help the power of food to help them heal and become the happiest, healthiest version of themselves so that they can live a very, very long time. I'm going to tell you 3 stories today that really sort of reshaped and redefined who I am. In my early 30s, I had some pretty run-of-the-mill health and wellness goals. I wanted to run this fast, I wanted to be able to lift this much, I wanted to look this good. But the one that sort of was a little bit out of the ordinary is that I set a goal for myself that I wanted to live till I was 110. Now, when I look back, I'm like, I don't even know where that goal came from, but I really sort of delved into learning more about centenarians and researching them and reading about them, and it just was, a bit of a different goal for somebody in their early 30s. But in my mid-30s, life really started to change. Now, I'm going to warn you, I've tried doing this talk many times without crying, but I probably will. So, in August of 2013, my mom, oh, where's my little clicker here? Here we go. Okay, that's my mom. In August of 2013, my mom and I went on a road trip across the prairies. So we went to a wedding, we visited lots of family, we shopped, we drank, we ate, we had so much fun. Upon our return, my mom started experiencing some pain and discomfort sort of under her bra area. And she had recently lost some weight, so we thought maybe it had something to do with that. Tried, making a few little suggestions here and there, but nothing was really fixing anything. So of course, went to the doctor. The doctor ran some blood work and some tests and some scans, and nothing was really coming back to, understand what it was. By about the end of September, she was diagnosed with a severe stomach infection and was put on antibiotics. Now, as we know, when we go on antibiotics, 2-3 days, you start feeling better. Well, that was not happening with my mom. And so she was, feeling worse and worse and worse. And by about the 3rd week of October, our family decided it was time for us to take our mom to the emergency room. So there we were. They checked my mom in and they admitted her that day. The very next day, they diagnosed my mom with something called cholangiocarcinoma. That is cancer of the bile duct. She was at stage 4 cancer. There was nothing that they could do for her. There was very, very little that they knew about that type of cancer at the time, and still to this day they don't really know that much. But there was nothing that they could do. 44 days later, my mom passed away. My mom was only 67 years old. Sorry. And she had so much life and love left to give for her husband, my dad, her kids, and her grandkids. Let's fast forward. Story number 2. This is my dad. He was about 82 or 83 in this picture. So looking pretty good for an older guy, right? Yeah, I know. Well, if he was here, he would probably get all your numbers at the same time. He's the ladies' man in his own mind. Anyhow, so in about 2019, my dad started, so my dad was about 10 years older than my mom. And so in about 2019, he started to experience a few ups and downs with his health. Now, there wasn't anything really out of the ordinary. You know, when you're 82 or 83, you kind of expect certain things to change a little bit. But it felt like every time we took one step forward, it was 2 steps, 3 steps, sometimes 4 steps back with his health. By the summer of 2021, things really started to change. I remember having some very difficult conversations with my sister about what was going on with my dad. His personality and his behavior were changing quite a bit. In the beginning, it was a little bit frustrating because we'd have some of those days where he would call you 20 times, and he called you 20 times because he forgot the other 18 times that he called you, and that could be frustrating when you're working or trying to do anything in the day. But really, it was scary and it was sad to watch him go through this and to be experiencing it with him. By the end of November of that same year, November of 2021, my dad was 2021. My dad was misdiagnosed with stage 2 dementia. At the time, my siblings and I knew that was not what was going on. My sister had some people on her side of the family, like her in-laws, that also was experiencing dementia, and this was moving way faster and way different than what could have been expected. So we continued to advocate for my father, asking for more tests and more scans and more scans. And he had a brain scan of May of 2021, and nothing had come up that was out of the ordinary. So they were very hesitant about doing another scan. But we insisted. And so finally in April of 2022, an MRI was ordered. My dad went for the MRI. He had a brain tumor at that time that covered the entire front lobe of his brain. There was more inflammation on his brain that they could even understand how he was managing it all. He was rushed to emergency because of that. Again, my siblings and I heard, he's at too far of a stage of this brain cancer. There's nothing that we can do for him. And unfortunately, that's sort of the cookie that crumbled. 3.5 weeks later, my dad was gone. In losing both of my parents, and my mom, I lost my biggest cheerleader. If my mom was here today, she'd be sitting right there and clapping for me the whole time. She was just my biggest cheerleader in life. And my dad was honestly my rock. My parents were the kind of parents that if you had them in your corner, you knew that you were going to be okay. They showed up like that for their kids, for their grandkids, for their friends. They were there for everybody in every way that they could. Now, I said I had 3 stories, so it's not all gloom and doom. I'm going to go up here, but this is the one I might cry for because it probably makes me the happiest. Then, at the age of 42, after experiencing 2 very sad miscarriages in my late 30s and my early 40s, I became pregnant. And at the age of 43, ta-da! It's funny, this picture's hilarious because it was COVID and you weren't allowed to have photographers do any photos, so my sister and I planned a photo shoot in my bedroom with the little baby. But at 43, I gave birth to the happiest, healthiest, most incredible little human being. I honestly think that the entire world revolves around her. I think that the sun comes up and the moon sets and the stars revolve around her. I'm madly in love with her. She has brought more purpose and light to my life and an intense amount of clarity and vision with what I want my life to be like. Losing both of my parents by the age, I'm gonna put a next picture. Losing both of my parents by the age of 44 has been extremely difficult on my siblings and I. First, losing my mom so young and so quickly. And then it was almost like we lost our dad twice because we first sort of started losing his personality and some things about him, and then to again lose him so quickly in the end. If you are right now in this sandwich generation, I feel for you. You know, we are expected, and rightfully so, to help take care of our aging parents. But yet we're also trying to raise families, and somewhere in there we're also supposed to take care of ourselves. And so we wonder why our health and wellness gets put to the back burner so many times and all too often. I remember having some moments that I prayed for things to happen that I felt guilty about with my parents and their sicknesses and their health. And if you're there, I know how difficult that position can be. But if you're in that moment right now, the only thing that I can say is, what would I do for one more road trip with my mom, or one more movie date with my dad, or one more hug? And although in the moments of difficulty that we have with our parents as they're aging, you get to help them. I know that's a difficult thing when they're calling you 20 times, or when you're taking them to too many appointments while you're trying to work and take care of your kids, but you get to do that for them. So, those goals that I set for myself in my early 30s about lifting and running and doing all of these great things, they don't really matter so much to me anymore, but the one that really, really matters is living for a really, really long time. And here's why. I had my daughter at the age of 43. I want to be there for her through all of her big moments of life. I want to be there for her relationships. I want to be there for her education, her career. If she decides to become a mom, and eventually for her to become a grandmother, I want to watch that. I want to be there for her. And so I have to live a really, really long time. And so to stay focused on those health goals, no matter where you are in your life right now, it's hard. It's hard to keep our own personal health and wellness at the forefront every single day. But the thing that drastically changed my entire outlook on health and wellness is this. 90% of how long you are going to live is determined by your daily habits, and only 10% on your genetics. Okay, I'm going to say that again. 90% of how long you are going to live is determined by your daily habits, and only 10% on your genetics. And so for me, with two parents with very rare forms of cancer that died so quickly, that was a big deal, right? That made me feel more secure, and that I actually have control of what might happen in my life and how long and how healthy those days are going to be. To make these habits stick, we need to make the healthy choice the easy choice. We need to ask ourselves at every single meal, how can I make this meal one step healthier? We need to ask ourselves every single day, how can I make this day one step healthier? When we lead with health and we make the healthy choice the easy choice, we will live longer. So, I'm going to tell you a few of my favorite healthy habits that I do every single day. Number one is that I meditate. Now, sometimes it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. I get it in when I can get it in. And that doesn't mean that I never have moments of anxiety or stress or I snap or have a meltdown. That still happens. But when we have stress reduction activity in our lives every single day, it will reduce the level of cortisol, which is our stress hormone, in our blood. That is very important for long-term health and wellness. Number 2, I have a very large dog. I don't have a photo of her. I really feel like she's missing out here. But I walk with her every single day, okay? What you do in the gym when you're 20 versus 50 versus 80 is going to be very, very different. But what we have learned about from an exercise perspective with centenarians is that we need to move naturally every single day. Becoming sedentary will shorten our life. We need to move naturally every single day. Number 3 is I have a dance party every single day. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of time to think about what kind of mom I really wanted to be. And I wanted to be a fun mom. A lot of other things too, but one of those things that I really wanted to be fun. So my 3-year-old wants to dance all the time. So when when we're hanging out, if she wants to, play music and we're going to dance, or we're watching a movie and a song comes on and she wants to get up and dance, we're doing it. Because when we have joy in our lives and we are happy people, we will live longer. So we need to find the things for ourselves that are going to bring that genuine joy and happiness into our day. I aim for 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. Now, from an anti-inflammatory perspective, we are looking for 7 to 9 servings every single day. But when we look at centenarians who are living 100 years or more, they're having 10 or more servings every single day. Now, the average North American is only getting 1. And if you take out fast food burgers because of the lettuce, tomato, onions, and pickle toppings, the average North American is getting 0. That's not good, okay? We really need to increase our fruits and vegetable intake, okay? We know that this is being a huge piece of living a longer, healthier life. I eat 2 handfuls of nuts every single day. By eating 2 handfuls of nuts every single day, you will add 5 years to your life, okay? I eat beans or legumes every single day, 1 to 2 servings every single day. Why? Because that's going to add 3 to 5 years to your life. Okay, so 2 habits, I just gained 10 years, right? Those are pretty easy if you can remember to do them. I eat for brain health. I remember when my dad was first feeling some symptoms, which we realize was a brain tumor, but he used to describe it like there was cotton in between his ears. He felt like there was cotton in his head. And I just can't imagine how frustrating that would be to feel and not really know what was going on or how to explain it to people. But because of that, I really kind of think that's what brain fog is. It sort of feels like there's just something in there that's just not clearing its way out. And so I want to make sure that I eat every single day for my brain health. And the 5 top foods for brain health are blueberries, dark chocolate, avocados, walnuts, and green tea. So trying to get those in every single day is important. I do not eat meat. This was not the greatest selection for me here today, but I'll live longer for it. But I do get a lot of protein, but I get my protein from other sources. So I do eat fish, but I also eat legumes, tofu, tempeh, nuts, seeds, and quinoa. Protein's really important, especially as women as we age. We lose 2% of our bone mass every single year at the age of 60. For men, you guys start losing it at the age of 70, and then we catch up to you. But it's really important to get enough protein, but it does not have to come from an animal source. I focus on digestive health. And the reason I do that is 70% of our immune system is created in our digestive system. We don't die from getting old. We die because our immune system is no longer strong enough to fight off a common cold, flu, or virus. And so if we want to keep our immune system strong, we have to focus on our digestive health. So foods that are really good for that are things like kimchi, high-fat Greek yogurt, kombucha, and olives. And my last one that I'm going to mention to you guys today is that I prioritize restful sleep. I remember in my early 30s reading an interview from a centenarian. At the time, she was 106 years old. And the interviewer asked her, what's the best relationship that you ever had? And she said it was the one that she had with her bed. Well, that's brilliant. So at the time, she was sleeping about 14 hours a day. Now, I know that's not what any of us are doing, but I have a toddler on my own, and I guarantee I get 8 hours of restful sleep every single night. But it's because I prioritize it. I have to make the healthy choice the easy choice. Now, if you're not doing any of these right now, that's okay. I'm not here to shame people. I'm not here to let you know that you need to be doing more. But you can start one today. And then next month, you can start a second one and take the entire month to build that habit. And then in a year from now, when we're back here on International Women's Day, if you've done one a month for every year, you will now have 12 healthy habits built into your life that are going to allow for you to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Nutrition is understood to be the number one determining factor of how long we will live. You truly are what you eat. Today we learned a lot about physical health, mental health, spiritual health. Lots of excellent, inspiring speakers. And ideally, we will all leave here today with feeling inspired and motivated with some tactical things that we can start doing today or tomorrow so that we can live a healthier life. But in reality, a lot of what we've heard today is probably going to go in one ear and out the other. And the reason is because we have so many conflicting priorities, right? It's really easy to walk out of here and say, I'm going to start eating those nuts and those beans. But when you get home and they aren't there, or next week when you kind of forgot about how inspired you feel today, that might sort of go to the wayside. But why is that? The real reason is because we do not have our why at the forefront, and it does not stay at the forefront. So I want to leave you with something today. What is your why? Why are you here? Why do you really, really want to be healthy? We all say we want to be healthier, but what are we actually doing every single day so that we are healthier? What are we doing to truly live that healthier life so that we can live into our 80s and 90s and 100s and it not be a challenge? We have to remember what that why is every single day. For me, my why is quite simple. I came home from the hospital with a newborn baby to my dog, but I didn't have my mom. She was not there to teach me how to be a mom. And yes, I had 35 years with her that she taught me how to love and how to be loved and how to show up in this world. But learning how to be a mom on my own was really hard. And I don't want my daughter to have to go through that. I want to be there for her through everything. I want to be in her corner through all of her major life's ups and downs, just like my parents were for me. So what I'll leave you with today is I really want you to consider, what is your why? And that might be for your kids, it might be for your pets, it might be for your career, it might be for anything that you choose. It doesn't have to be for anything specific, but what you have to do is remember why you want to be healthy and live that way every single day. That is all for me. Thank you so much for your time.